Well, hey, welcome to Streamlabs Desktop 1.6.1. I'm your host, Patrick Marlett, and this is a show before the show where I check to make sure everything is hunky-dory. And it appears to be. Had to update. Every time I jump on, I swear, there's a new Streamlabs update, and it's not even OBS anymore. It's Streamlabs Desktop, which makes me think that there is a mobile version of this application, which is an interesting thought. There's a poll going on right now that I will end before we start. You can take a look at the deck and its land base thus far if you're joining for the live event, which is Zedruu and you in the link in the description. Should be there. I did link it, I swear. Or maybe I didn't save it. Who knows? But I have Zedruu in front of me right now, and I think it's a she. I initially thought she was a goat, right? So I had Animal Sanctuary in the land base, which she's not. She's definitely a Minotaur monk, and I didn't know Minotaurs look like goats. So yeah, that was new to me. She's awesome though, and definitely in the spirit of the season. So I wanted to do a couple of holiday themed lists. Next week, if you're on the Patreon, you already know that there is going to be a Brew Wars live. So please participate if you haven't yet. It's going to be around the same time. If I'm not mistaken, I labeled it as 7 p.m. I like doing these late night. Gives me more time of day to do things and have 3 square meals before I start these up. But also, it's just more fun. It makes more sense to be drinking at 7 p.m. than like midday when I would normally be, because that's kind of a shtick on the show. It's also just an excuse for me to have a drink. But it's more appropriate now. Look at us adulting. So, evenings for that. Brew Wars Live is going to be next weekend, which is the 19th, Sunday. And then, obviously, it's if you celebrate Christmas week. I believe Kwanzaa is also that weekend. And I want to do something that following weekend, too. I want to close out the year. I will be here in New York. So far as I know, I haven't requested any days off, so I'll be here. And I want to do a Gruul snow creature to rake in the holiday season and obviously send us off into the new year. So very excited for 2022. Very excited for Zedruu, and I hope so are you. I'll turn to the comments now, see how you guys are doing. And Joel, thank you for showing up early. You are the person I'm going to turn to most for this. If you guys don't know, as we do with our cold brew sessions and our brewmaster sessions on the show, the only difference being cold brew is something that I usually concoct, although this time I turn to our Discord. So if you want to participate on our selections and or any sort of queries or questions I might bring up about particular programming on the show, the Discord's a good spot to go. YouTube gets a little bit of traction, but I find the Discordians are the most active audience members. So if you're on there, you get to participate in those polls. And they could be planned a week in advance, a month in advance, or just be very short notice like this one was, because it was a toss-up between Braids, Mono Blue, and Zedruu, because I never see Braids done. And I had more thoughts on what we could do with Braids. In Zedruu, I have no clue. I have never played a group hug list, and if you're unfamiliar with what that even means, it's unique to Commander, and essentially it's the idea that you can gain political favor by giving people things, namely because Zedruu does that, and we're not going to talk about Zedruu yet, but that's what she does. So conceptually there's that, and I think we can sort of turn that on its head and do something with it that's both fun and competitive. I've seen a lot of Zedruu stacks. I'm not sure that's necessarily something I care to do, although that is something we can do. And the poll going right now is for a Bronze Bombshell. And my thing with her is that she doesn't really have a home elsewise, right? So I was thinking it would be fun to at least incorporate her in some form of list. And there's a couple of cool things you can actually do. If you're using like Felden of the Third Path or Arcane Artisan, or there's plenty of ways you can like multiply her and then send her out, whether she's in your graveyard or in your hand in some cases, or has died with something like Mimic Vat. I was looking over a few things, but I'm like, that would be cute, because I've always thought to use Bronze Bombshell, and this is the only list. So you don't have to holla yay this. you can certainly New Year's nay this, and that's totally fine. I do want this list to be somewhat competent, and it's in good color, so it's probably gonna be good anyways. But at any rate, yes, Joel, the most roundabout way of saying, I don't know how you've played this or how you've seen this played, but I'll definitely ask for your suggestions. I know there's got to be a handful of catch cards for Zedruu that are just like synergy really well with her. I was thinking things, token generation, put stuff under our control, give it to someone else. Benefit, right? It's kind of costly to benefit off of Zedruu's ability, but it's there. Let's see here. Wolfson says hi. Hey. JC Apodaka says, hi, Pat. Hey, JC. How are you? Trent says, free braids. Yeah. I don't know if that's ever going to happen. Braids, specifically the mono black one. She's been trapped for a while now. It's an unfun card, apparently. And I don't know if I necessarily agree with that sentiment. She could be fun. People love smokestacks. It's everyone's favorite. So, I mean, at some point I would like to do an unbanned kind of occasion on the show. Whether that be with you guys in the Patreon crew. Or I don't know how it would function, but I wanted to do like an unbanned day where we just played whatever we wanted. Right? So your Grizzle brands are loosed. Your gifts ungiven are available. Right? Gifts ungiven? Gifts... What is that? I think that's what it's called. You know, recurring nightmares, all the stuff that's banned that's really good. That we would love to play. Gifts ungiven. With such good art. And multiple printings. I had no idea. I don't like the Jace art. I like the other art better. Alright. Bronze Bombshell can be used in a lot of black decks. It's not a dead card, says John Wayne. And I'll take your word for it, John. And I'd certainly like to see it used. It's such an interesting card. I think it came from Dissension. I mean, I have it over here. But it's this weird rare. And it's not difficult to cast her. She's only 4 CMC, or it. It's construction that looks like a bombshell, but like her head was made out of an oil can. It's the weirdest. It is the funkiest card. I've always wanted to play it. This art's just so goofy. Everything about this card is just so interesting to me. Is 7 damage rather, enough to knock out the board quickly or efficiently? Not really. It's kind of a funny thing to do though. Like, if someone does that, they rip their ad nause, you're able to use Bronze Bombshell to like give them, well, the bombshell and have it go off, right? If they didn't think thoroughly or completely through their actions there. And there might even be some instances where you could cheat in Bronze Bombshell to get the damage done. It's 7 damage, but it's quite a bit to do. I mean, flat out, it's 4 to cast her and then 3 to use Zedruu's ability. So it's 7 for 7. 7-7. Should have been drinking Seagram 7 and 7 right now. That's what we should have been doing. All right. This is my second favorite deck I own, Justin Werber. Oh my god. The Zedruu Masters are here. Well, this may pale to your list, but that is, again, conceptually the whole point of Cold Brew and Brewmaster, is working together to make a list to, well, our likings and or requested decks to the best that we can. And I'm pretty hyped for Zedruu. It's one I've always wanted to do, but I just don't play in blue, and it's such a weird commander to work on. Just functionally, what necessarily do you want to do? Do you want to do something politically, or how group hugged we? How tight is our hug? You know, how warm is our hug? I don't know yet, but I am interested to like piece that together with you guys. Let's see here. Are we hate stacksing? I don't know if we're hate stacksing. I don't know if I necessarily want to go hard stacks. I think that there's a certain amount of stacks we can actually use here that makes sense. And what's funny is, like, you know, if we play a Deafening Silence and we give it to someone, it's just as effective under their control as it is under our control. So that, you know, that makes sense to me if we're not overly concerned about the one non-creature spell a turn. And I'm not sure that we are or aren't because I haven't really compiled this list yet. We're going to get there. But something like that is, you know, that makes sense. Like, you're just giving away value pieces that, you know, it doesn't really matter whether it's under your control or someone else's. Although that does make me think, like, Zedruu's core effect here, it could be good with something like Acquiesce. Oh my god. There's a couple of cards that, in white, specifically, like Balancing Act. Okay. I'm trying to remember the names of these cards, but there's a certain few where each player chooses a number of permanents they control equal to the number of permanents controlled by the player who controls the fewest, then sacrifices the rest. You can sort of get some people by giving away your own things, and they'll obviously destroy your things, but if you're giving them things that you don't necessarily care about, in this instance, you know, not necessarily stacks pieces, but maybe tokens we're generating, you can get people to like wipe out certain elements of the board, which is kind of cool. But no, there could be elements at play like that. And obviously, if this is a stupid idea, let me know and give me a better idea. But I've got a Odyssey foil Balancing Act that I've been wanting to play, so maybe this is the deck, right? All right, here, I'll tune back in with you guys. A friend, I'm assuming, gave me the black braids as a holiday present. Antonio, you can make a deck for braids. I would certainly make a deck for braids. Why not? Mono black, like that's such a strong ability to just have in the command zone. I think we kind of neglect its function. It was annoying enough to be bannable, right? Why not? Make a deck out of it. Unless your friends really don't want it. What's your first fave deck? We can send that to the group of you. What is everyone's favorite deck? My first fave deck? I guess Teshar. It's weird. I'm drinking a different scotch after the other scotch I was just drinking. I'm at the bottom of all my bottles, so Glengoyne after a Brookletich, which I'm pretty sure I'm mispronouncing, but give the gift of white cards. No one else wants to play. Exactly. So rest in peace. And here's rest in peace. Or what is the one where you can win the game? Oh, what is the one where you can win the game? The white one? Happily Ever After? Is this a Happily Ever After deck? When Happily Ever After enters the battlefield, each player gains 5 life and draws a card. At the beginning of your upkeep, if there are 5 colors among permanents you control... Oh, yeah. Maybe we should give Happily Ever After to someone in like the hopes that they can win with like a 10-cent card, right? Here you go. If you make it work, congratulations. But then we're also casting a 3 CMC spell for everyone draws a card. I mean, but then on the back end, you do get to draw an additional card off of Zedruu's top ability. That'd be kind of goofy. But Happily Ever After, that's the real poll question. Wait up. Do we Happily Ever After? We're at the time we should be starting. So I'm going to end this current poll. Do we Bronze Bombshell? It looked like a yes. Okay. Rainbow Veil is a good land to give away. Rainbow Veil is a good land to give away. Well, I'm not just going to take you on your word. Let's see. Oh, yeah. An opponent gains control of Rainbow Veil at the beginning of the next end step. That's actually a really cute function for the list. And obviously you get some Foglio art, so you have to use it, right? Let's put Rainbow Veil in there. What the hell? You know what I was thinking? Like, excuse me. I was thinking Ghost Town would also be kind of cool. Just as a reoccurring thing to give. You own Ghost Town. Let me see here. Ghost Town. Return Ghost Town to its owner's hand. Activate only if it's not... No, never mind. Yeah, never mind. That did not read the way I thought it did. But basically, I was thinking you can hand over control of it, but if you rendered control to someone else, then you obviously couldn't activate this. It's not something that anyone can activate, sadly. Although that would have been really cool. Could you? No, there's nothing you can do here. No. Because it's an upkeep trigger on your turn. You would need to wait. You would need... Yeah, there's functionally nothing. Let's just go with Rainbow Veil. Right? An opponent can... At the beginning of next end step. Yeah, that works. The feudal days of Acacia. Okay. Give away Ristic Cave as well. Give away Ristic Cave. Are you okay with minor stacks? My sister-in-law loves aggro, so Statecraft is amazing. You know what's funny? I was just looking over Statecraft recently. Like, yes. So to answer your question, love Merc Mask art. So any card you can recommend from Mercadian Mask is gonna make its way into the deck, because that's how, you know, cEDH players build decks. We look for art first and foremost, and then function, right? I mean, we're in a Jeskai. Is that the colors we're in? Which means we have Underworld Breach and Thassa's Oracle. Mind you, I didn't name a white card. None of them are relevant. So, you know, obviously those can, Underworld Breach and Thassa's Oracle can fit into the strategy somehow, but that's fucking boring. Sorry, this is the late night program. I'm sorry if there's any children nearby, cover their ears. But yeah, we can do that. But what's better is Statecraft. Yeah, we could do things like this. It's an enchantment, prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to and dealt by creatures you control. Super goofy. It could actually stunt some strategies, but it is 4 CMC, so I'm a little iffy on this one. There is, though, Cornered Market. Isn't that also from the set? Yes. Okay, so it's 3 CMC. Players can't cast spells with the same name as non-token permanents. As a non-token permanent, excuse me. Players can't play non-basic lands with the same name as a non-token permanent. So, this is sort of like, this is goofy light stacks is what you refer to it as. That's very similar. But it's 3 CMC, so it's a little bit easier to get out. And also Mercadian Mask. So, and again, we're playing like a cEDH player. We're building like a cEDH player today. My favorite deck is Rin and Siri. That's the dog and the cat, right? Is that? Yeah? Okay. For sure, Joel, also illusions of grandeur and delusions of mediocrity are fun to see their reactions. So Bronze Bombshell is a must, apparently. Happy for that. On a serious note, Gilded Drake. Wait. Oh. Dang it. Also, yes. Trent. So both Gilded Drake, but also all the cumulative upkeeps. Just think of all the negative or detrimental things that you would normally cast and not ever want to cast. That doesn't make sense. Think of all those things and then put them in Zedruu, and that's when your opponent like pongifies Zedruu, right? But do that. They don't know who you're handing it to. And then give it away so that, you know, someone has to pay 2 life every turn or whatever that cumulative upkeep is. I think there's maybe there's a black card, or I don't know what color it's in, but there's a cumulative upkeep that makes you lose life, and that's actually a really smart idea. But we'll look over the cumulative upkeeps. I think those are definitely must, because those are minor stacks, right? But they could have a really good effect on ETB, and then you just say, I really don't want this anymore. Take it. Also, Bazaar Trader. Do we... I don't know if you guys know what Bazaar Trader is. I don't even know if I'm spelling that right. Do we? Bazaar Trader is just if I'm not mistaken, it's a red card that does essentially the same thing as Zedruu. And I'll read it off right now just to gauge interest. Yeah. 2 CMC Goblin. Target player gains control of target artifact, creature, or land you control. Is that something that we would want in this list? Like doubling down on the effect of Zedruu. And mind you, Bazaar Trader, not as good in its actual effect, but the cost of the effect is easier. So I like it. I'd be curious to know. So yeah, target player gains control of things, just what Zedruu wants to do. I feel like I've seen people run Bazaar Trader and Zedruu, and I didn't know if that redundancy was necessary. But if you guys like it or you feel it's necessary, I'd love to know. Which lands gives a plant token? Good politics piece. First time watching in a while. Dang, your hair grew so fast. Yeah, it looks kind of ridiculous right now, actually. But yeah, thanks. I cut it, and then it's doing this. It's doing this right now. Ristic Cave is funny land, even though it's not very good. Colony Garden is the one that gives tokens, right? But we're not in green, so. What about moderation? Okay. You guys don't know this, but the Marlette motto is nothing in moderation. And if you're referring to a card, I'll have to look that card up. You can cast more than one spell each turn. Whenever you cast a spell, draw a card. Is this to like, is this to give someone? So what's interesting about moderation, so I want all of these. These are the effects. Okay, I think we're not officially starting yet, but I do want to show you all what I'm looking at. So this is the card that was just suggested. All the cards, like this wonderful Randy Vargas card, this makes a lot of sense to me. I think it's kind of funny. Obviously, it's a rule of law for yourself, and you can sort of reap the benefits of it, right? Turn to turn. Mind you, it's each turn. So later you can play your opt and like draw a card. You get what I'm saying. You can get extra value out of this, and then when someone's ready to storm off, just send it their way. Have a little moderation. Try to have a little moderation. That's kind of funny. I think we could do that. And again, I'm open to any and all of these suggestions. In my mind, because Zedruu's ability is 3, it's quite a bit, I want to keep the value of our effect cards, the gifts, shall we, to 3 and under. Because we're really asking a lot here already. So, can we? Can we? But on that note, let's start this. Let's start this thing up. Welcome back to the 99, where we're focused on brewing a better competitive commander, and not necessarily today because it's the holiday season, and today I am of the spirit of giving everything. The shirt off my back already happened. Switched to a sweater, and today with our legendary Zedruu. So if you don't know the girl, who I thought was a goat, but is actually a Minotaur monk, she functionally loves the holiday season. She loves giving things away, and she reaps benefits just because she's spreading Christmas joy, Kwanzaa joy, Hanukkah joy. Name them all. Yeah, I was going to put Gilder Drake in here. Trent. Thank you. Thank you for the suggestion. And now, Zedruu. Zedruu the Great-Hearted. So, if you've never seen her, if you've never heard of her, it's 1 generic, 1 blue, 1 red, 1 white, 4 CMC total, legendary creature, Minotaur Monk, 2/4 body. At the beginning of your upkeep, you gain X life and draw X cards, where X is the number of permanents you own that opponents control. So, I forget when the rules changed, but essentially, any cards you bring to the table and put on the table, like cast, those are things you own. But ultimately, the control of those things, it varies, right? So if you cast an enchantment aura, you still control that enchantment aura, whether it goes on a creature you control or an opponent controls. Only in instances where it says something exchanges control does someone else control the thing that you previously controlled. Or you put something into play under someone else's ownership, under someone else's control, then they control it, right? But Zedruu has the unique effect of just giving things away, as was mentioned. So for blue, red, white, target opponent gains control of target permanent you control, which can be redirected, which is kind of weird, but there's some things you can do to stop this ability. I don't know if anyone's really going to stop you from handing things around, but any permanent you own can become someone else's. So there is just a wealth of things we can do with this effect. And that's what I'm enlisting all of you to help me with. So I've done a little bit of research on Zedruu. I know the general philosophy is to make a fun group hug list out of this. So not necessarily cEDH. I don't know if any group hug list is necessarily cEDH, because politics aren't such a huge part of cEDH, or at least not in the same sense. You might see them at a casual table, right, where you do favors in exchange for one more turn to live, or whatever your expectation is from that opponent. However, I want to do the group hug thing regardless, and I also want to win because this is a game, and we should be trying to win, ultimately. Having fun is just a side effect of being together with friends. So, the only thing I've worked out was Gilder Drake. Thank you, Trent. Yes, I mean, it's kind of a staple anyways, right? But I mean, if you own one, which, you know, is awesome at this point because they're very expensive, slam it in this list. And then Bronze Bombshell. So Bronze Bombshell is one that we agreed on prior. I know, it's not the greatest, but it's really funny and something I want to do. But essentially, we talked about this a second ago, 4 CMC. If someone else controls it, they eat 7 damage and she blows up. Lands. So we added a land, Rainbow Veil, and we'll probably remove a land because I don't think we need 30 lands. Generally, 29 to 30 is the sweet spot. If I feel we need an additional land, we can add additional land. But I added some basic lands here. There's nothing really special beyond, honestly, the Rainbow Veil that we just added. And then there's some pretty basic stuff, like all your fetches are in here, all your pain lands in here, your shock lands are in here. And then obviously your, what are they, the Battle Bond lands? I don't know what the official name for this is, but like the commander lands, let's just be honest, the Rejuvenating Springs, those are all in here. And that's all I've covered thus far. So, starting from the bottom, working our way to the top, we've got 33 cards, which means we have a third of our cEDH list. Let's go from there. What do we want? 32 because I took out that island. But yeah, let me close out this poll though for the Bazaar Trader. I'm curious to see where everyone landed on this. Let me scroll up. I think there's a lot of commentary. Okay. Oh my god. Absolutely Bazaar Traders. There's some enchantment in blue that lets you look at the top 10 cards or something with a cumulative upkeep. Trent, there is. And I don't remember its name, but you're absolutely right. That is a card that exists. Why would you not? Why would you not? Also, Humble Defector. Humble Defector, in case you guys don't know, is a red card that's never played. But here it makes sense, kind of, maybe, sort of. Draw 2 cards, then target opponent gains control of Humble Defector. Activate only during your turn, right? Pretty good effect. It makes sense enough here. Is there something cute we can do with this in Zedruu? Like, can we... There's nothing we can do. They just get it. They get it. So, Humble Defector, maybe. But it looks like Bazaar Trader was definitely high on the consideration list. Let's see if there's a... Oh, that's just the World Wake version. Gotta get the foil in there. Okay. I'm way late, but it looks good, man. Oh, thank you. My hair? Oh, you cut your hair. I did, Tony. Forbidden Orchard. You know what's weird is that mobile stream is way faster than TV. That is weird. You need to connect a Ethernet cable to your TV if you can do that. Oh, I send moderation away right away because I use Sunbird's invocation. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, I gave away cancer. Oh, God. Yeah. Hi, Mons. Oh, hey, Mons. Yes, Trent. It looks like Mons is here. It was really fun watching people playing my trash terrible cards. Wedding Ring is actually good here. And we can look at Wedding Ring. This is actually my first commander I built. Shut the front door, Mons. This was the first commander you built? Well, then you will also be the expert I turn to for everything Zedruu. But Wedding Ring. This is a new one. I'm not going to say it's a good one. But it's $25. So someone thought it was good. My lord. Okay. Anyway. When Wedding Ring enters the battlefield, if it was cast, target opponent creates a token that's a copy of it. Okay. Well, it enters control for them, so we've never controlled it, right? Oh my god, I don't think this works that way. Am I wrong? You're gonna where X is the number of permanents you own, but that your opponents control. Do you own tokens? Yes. Okay. Whenever opponent who controls an artifact named Wedding Ring draws a card during their turn, you draw a card. All right, so we all draw for Wedding Ring. Whenever an opponent who controls an artifact named Withering Ring gains life during their turn, you gain that much life. Okay. Hopefully it's an opposing Zedruu. You'll both be gaining life. You'll both be drawing a lot of cards. That'd be kind of cool. Let's see here. Oh, hey, it's that cEDH guy. Yes. Does the opponent choose what permanent, or do you? You choose. Yes. The wording's a bit confusing. Tabernacle. Add Tabernacle. Add Tabernacle. Okay, so Tabernacle. We're talking about the Tabernacle. All creatures have the beginning of your upkeep sacrifice this creature unless you pay 1. So one way or another, this will function to do the thing. I'm not sure it's absolutely necessary, but if we want to add that, we can. We can. Is this a must in all Zedruu list? I really don't know. It seems like a very cruel thing to do, and not in the holiday spirit, letting everyone sacrifice their things. But it's something you can do. Tabernacle is a good call. They're also called Bondlands. I'll go figure. Perplexing Chimera is interaction. Tabernacle is a good call. If we want to be really mean and not at all festive. See, now aggressive mining is one I was thinking of. So aggressive mining is kind of funny because you can get some value out of it before you just let it go. There's a couple aggressive things apparently, but the only one that's red. You can't play lands. I find this to be hilarious. Now, unfortunately, it is one individual that will be suffering here, and maybe that's a little too much. It'd be nice to make that suffering symmetrical, right? Tis the season to give, you know, mutual suffering. So maybe if we found a aggressive mining that was, you know, had everyone, you know, in the mines with the canaries, that would be something. Let's see here. Aggressive mining. Yes, it was, but I'm not an expert of this commander. Ancestral knowledge. Is this the... Okay, so the one thing... I'm just going over some cards that we're mentioning, and then I want to look up some cumulative upkeep cards in general. But I'm pretty sure that ancestral knowledge is... It's got like Sisay on it. Yeah, right? Is that not her? That looks like her. When ancestral knowledge comes into play, look at the top 10 cards of your library, then remove any number of them from the game and put the rest on the bottom or on the top of your library in any order. If ancestral knowledge leaves play, shuffle your library. Oh, boo-hoo. But then there's a cumulative upkeep to pay for, right? So what's cool is that you can sort of pass the buck, that is ancestral knowledge, on someone else. That's not so bad. I kind of like this card here. I don't know if it's going to be super good, but that's a hilarious tax to put on someone. The thing is, put an age counter on this permanent, then sacrifice it unless you pay its cumulative, its upkeep cost for each age counter. With the cumulative upkeep, unless they don't have the mana, this is an optional, right? At the beginning of your upkeep, put an age counter on this permanent, then sacrifice it unless you pay its upkeep cost for each age counter. That's the thing to note. I think they have to, but I could be dead wrong. I've never played for this as a thing. So, and I've never actually dealt with that much cumulative upkeep outside of the tree that existed in my Savala list. Okay. Wait, that card is almost cEDH good. Wedding Ring is trash. I lied. Tokens are owned by the player who created them, Dogan says. It's not trash, but it's definitely not $25 for what you're getting. Great stacks card that you can give away. Which is a great stacks card that you can give away? The aggressive mining? I agree, Dogan. Illusions of Grandeur. So this is something that was brought up earlier. And again, I want to just look through a few of these, and then if cumulative upkeep is a functional thing that we should be doing, we should be doing it. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? And this is another one. Okay. When Illusions of Grandeur enters the battlefield, you gain 20 life. When Illusions of Grandeur leaves the battlefield, you lose 20 life. That's pretty hilarious. Oh god, that's so good. What? That is freaking awesome, this art. Quentin Hoover. Yeah, that's really cool. For 4CMC, it feels like a lot, but if we like this enough, are you guys the bunny or are you the mage? So we just looked it up. We just looked at it together. Am I spelling this wrong? Wait up. No, I'm not. Illusions of grandeur. Let's see here. Okay, let's drop the bomb card. Thought Lash. Oh God. Exile the top card of your library. When a we're clearly on this trend. Cumulative upkeep. And correct me, am I wrong? You have to pay this, right? Unless you can't. And then it's gone. Am I mistaken? Is that how it functions? Please correct me if I'm wrong. It's happened before. It has happened. Let me see here. 3 mana to only force them to shuffle their library. They don't have to, and then they shuffle. They don't have to, and then they shuffle. You have to pay 2 Zedruu to activate, and then 5 mana shuffle effect. I don't like it personally. Would this be good in Yuriko? That's a solid question. Paramecon Sky Rampant. Wait. Hold up. If you like illusions, delusions, and mediocrity, illusions grandeur is Zedruu staple. Would you say, Antonio? Would you say? Tabernacle is a great stacks card you can give away, similar to Thought Lash. If you like illusions, okay. So we'll look at the delusions of mediocrity. But okay. I'm not getting a straight answer from anyone. Are my guesses on cumulative upkeep accurate? We'll find out. And then may pay. Can't choose the same creature to sacrifice twice. Either 2 creatures must be sacrificed, or creature with cumulative upkeep must be sacrificed. Has multiple instances of cumulative. Is it a may? I just want to know if it's a may. Then you may pay the cost. See, the fact that they have free reign over the decision. So this may appear. So, but they get the negative effect. Like, is that what we're excited about, right? Okay. Let's look over some of them. If you play a card, bury Juju Bobble. If you play a card, bury Juju Bobble. That's not really gonna get anyone, is it? Let's see here. Don't forget Thought Lash. Okay, so we've got it. We've got it. Illusions of Grandeur is a Zedruu staple. You can choose not to pay, like Mystic Remora. Oh, there we go. You're mistaken. Mystic Remora has cumulative upkeep. It does. Illusions and 9 lives is one of my win cons in my Zedruu deck. Make copies of them and pass them out into a warp world and something like that. Damn. Pat doesn't play blue. He doesn't know how Remora works. No, I don't. Sandro. Also, Mind Over Matter and Temple Bell for a non-cEDH deck. Let me see what Antonio suggested really quick, which is the mediocrity. No, who suggested it? Someone said something about mediocrity. Okay, so when Delusions of Mediocrity leaves the battlefield, you lose 10 life. So are we doing something to do that? Are we doing something to do this? Right? We use our own thing to destroy that. It's kind of goofy. I like the illusions. Okay, let's go with illusions. One, the art is everything, so that's probably worth it, right? In and of itself. And then do you really want Delusions of Grandeur in here? Is this a thing? And we should also put Mystic Remora. By the way, speaking of Mystic Remora, and I'll put Ristic Study in just to get that out of the way, because those all make total sense, and I'm sure they're going to be suggested. So yeah, we'll do those. Illusions is a must, sure. If they don't pay, they get the negative effects, right? So how many other negative effects do we want to give them, right? I know Thought Lash was one. Thought Lace? Oh, is this 2 words? Okay. Yeah. We can look at over the rest of these cumulative upkeepers just to see if there's anything that I'm missing. Obviously, there appear to be a few Zedruu must includes, so I'd be interested to know in any of the other ones. And as illusionary terrain enters the battlefield, choose 2 basic land types. Basic lands of the first chosen type are the second chosen type. Oh my god. Okay. If Revered Unicorn leaves play, its controller gains life equal to Revered Unicorn's last paid cumulative upkeep. Do we want to give that away? Damage it would... probably not. Put 2 cards from a single graveyard onto the bottom of their owner's library. That's kind of a cool upkeep. It's not useful. Trying to find the ones with negative effects. That looks like it has the negative effects. But it doesn't. It just looks like it. My god, that guy. He's really suffering. When it's put into a graveyard from play. Okay. 1/1 white bird. Nope. Not interested. Put a music counter. Oh my god. Dude. Drew Tucker. I mean, I'm going to look at the card anyways, but I don't know if it's good. If it doesn't have, at the beginning of your upkeep, destroy this creature unless you pay 1. See, who needs Tabernacle when you have Musician? It gains that ability. That's kind of cool. This is a weird thing to hand out, and it's the very stupid thing to hand out, but you could just play it. Someone was saying Vexing Sphinx, I think earlier, is put into a graveyard from play, draw a card for each age counter on it. Oh, that's kind of cool. Just hope no one, like, Deadly Rollicks or paths this poor Sphinx before you get the benefit of this thing. But it's interesting. You're not going to hand this off. We're also not trying to do that for someone. A Survivor of the Unseen. Oh, did we add your Humble Defector? Did we add your Humble Defector? It's odd because this is definitely a group hug. Like, this is a group huggy thing to do. But Humble Defector? Yay? Yay, nay? Yay, nay? Let me see here. Zedruu is mostly less proactive. It's just a nice place to throw it on the board. Let them worry about it. Esper Sentinel. Esper Sentinel, you say? This sounds like a shitty card. Is it white? No, it's pretty good. That enchantment that gives you a second upkeep. It isn't cumulative upkeep, but you can rock Steel Golem. Paradox Haze. Joel. Paradox Haze. You all want Paradox Haze? Hold up now. Hold up now. At the beginning of enchanted player's first upkeep each turn, the player gets an additional upkeep step after the step. Oh my god. Right. Is there a functional benefit to doing this that's being discussed? Musician is bad. Mons, get out of here. Don't you tell me this Drew Tucker. Sadly, every card Drew Tucker's done art for is bad. I can't think of a good card that Drew Tucker's done, sadly. Yet he has some of the best art in the game. Can't we search by artist? I need to know. I need to verify. I'm sorry. This is important. There's got to be at least one good card in here. Oh god. Dodin. Decomposition? No. What? What? I haven't seen this. Each opponent mills 14 cards. When you cycle, each opponent mills 4 cards. That's not bad. Look at you. But yeah, I don't know if you really would want to run that. Sorry, I haven't seen any of these newer cards. Again, But this one's kind of cool too. Just art-wise. Plateau. I'm sorry. Drew Tucker at least did one good card. This one's pretty good. All right. Draw, gain life. Okay. How do people even win through Perplexing Chimera, though? How do people win through Perplexing Chimera? How do you win through Perplexing Chimera? Whenever an opponent casts a spell, you may exchange control of Perplexing Chimera and that spell. If you do, you may choose new targets for the spell. That's kind of dope. Wow, I really like that. I get what you're saying. Do we want... Okay, wow, that's a much more interesting question than the Humble Defector, which I'm pretty sure... Wow, yeah, okay. It clearly has a lot of love with the Zedruu fan base, or at least today's viewing audience. I'm glad to know. Humble Defector, it's in. We're doing it. Look at us. All right. But more importantly, because this card's come up a handful of times, Perplexing Chimera. Perplexing Chimera. It's a little costly, but I understand. Because it does the exchange itself, right? And that seems kind of important, right? The fact that the card does the thing itself just means that we get to benefit off of Zedruu's static effect, right? And that seems like the most important part, not necessarily giving away shitty things, which is kind of what the spirit of the deck is. It's really about doing those things for free. So that's an interesting question. Is this a yay or is this a nay? Is this a yay or a nay? Trent says give the gift of Dockside already ETB. That's such a shitty, yeah. It's like, yeah, I can agree with that. I can agree with that. Paradox is a do-nothing card at 3, in my opinion. Yes, it has some benefits, but a potential cEDH list? Probably not, says Trent. And that was the inflection he put on those words. I just read them. That's all. This card is awesome. Double upkeeps, and Zedruu is double. This is why. I'm sorry. Double the upkeep, double the fun with Zedruu Mint Gum. All right? Is that what we want? Additional upkeep? Is that what you people want? Is that what you sick cEDH players want? You want all the value? You're not just okay with some value? I wasn't really thinking about Zedruu's top ability, okay? I wasn't. Each player may play an additional land on each of his turns. I've known this card existed, that there was another orrery. Until it gets plugged, I'm sure it's not going to be expensive or valuable, right? At the beginning of each player's upkeep, if that player has no cards in hand, that player draws 3 cards. No, this is not the additional upkeep I was looking for. As a matter of fact, it's not an additional upkeep at all. That is upsetting. Yeah, that's really... Okay, so yeah, yes, you're right. Mana Crypt, Island, Paradox, Haze. Enchant yourself. Treat yourself. Have a little staycation on your upkeep. I like that. That's really cute. And we can get a Mystery Store Booster Edition version in this deck. Okay. What about Sphinx of the Second Sun? I don't know why this light is so blinding for me today. Sorry. I don't know about Sphinx of the Second Sun. That is a solid question, though. I guess that is true. No, Brew. I don't play it as a cEDH. It's harder for me. Okay. If you're building Zedruu for cEDH, then all you want is global stacks effects. Probably. Right, and that necessarily wasn't the intended goal for this episode. If you are tuning in late, my goal wasn't to make the best stacks Zedruu in the world. It was to make a quirky, potentially good Zedruu that is all about giving of things. So I am interested in token generation still. It sounds lame. It is. But I was interested in doing some form of token generation and like giving these shitty little things away just to accumulate value. And if those shitty little things happen to be like 4/4 beaters, that's actually not so bad because you can just have them swing any which way. I don't know why they would swing at you unless they really hated you for giving them a 4/4. They would probably swing at the person who has black in their color pie. Okay, I think we're done with this poll though. And it looks good. It looks good for Perplexing Chimera. It's got me confused at how valuable it is. So Perplexing Chimera, love it. I love it. You guys love it, so I love it. It's Born of the Gods. Foil. Gotta go with the foil. Okay. Pramicon Sky Rampart? Rampart? Sky Ramp. Okay. The commander we're not playing. As Pramicon Sky Ramp enters the battlefield, choose left or right. Each player may attack only the nearest opponent in the chosen direction, and planeswalkers controlled by that opponent. Okay. Am I missing something here? Do you get double the upkeep with Pramicon? Do you? Flying defender, just left or right. Let me know. What am I missing there? Donate tapped mana vault. Yes. Mana Crypt and Paradox Haze means twice the damage loss. Yeah. Well, you need to trade the Mana Crypt afterwards, obviously. Let someone else enjoy the double generic. But yeah, you could potentially be really screwed with that. But yeah, Perplexing Chimeras in. Steel Golem is good. Steel Golem, you say? Is it good? Is it? You can't play creature spells? That's kind of good. That is kind of good. That is kind of good. So, any more of those you have up your sleeve? Is there a gold penguin you might know about? A bronze chameleon? Let me know. That's actually kind of funny, though. I really want those effects. As a matter of fact, does it read can't cast? Yeah, okay. Cannot cast. More of those things, because I think that's hilarious. An artifact, creature, and I just want permanence. Okay, I just want to know them permanence. Daring Thief. What about Vidalcan Plotter? Vidalcan Plotter? Trent says, we basically add a lot of initial boost with suboptimal after effects like ETB creatures and Mana Vault. And just Mana Vault. It's really just Mana Vault, if we're being honest, so far as the artifacts are concerned, right? But yeah, essentially, yeah. But I do want more things like the, and again, the Steel Golem is right at that 3 CMC mark. Like, that's about as high as I wanted to go, so... But let's see if there's anything else. I've always wanted to leverage this. Right? Not even Thrasios wants this. It's mind-boggling. It's just like, it's 2 free mana that never gets played. It just never gets used. But I've always wanted to use Thran Turbine. Name me the list for Thran Turbine. Okay. Silent Arbiter for protection. Outlaws Merrymen for token generation. A Crow and a Horse does token plan by itself. Yeah, it's true. Grid Monitor, as well as Steel Golem. Okay. See, again, if you got another Steel Golem card, I will immediately look at it. That's how interested I am. It's 4 CMC. It just missed the mark. Am I wrong? Steel Golem's 3, right? Oh my god, no. Please, don't do it. Don't do it to me, please. I can type. Yeah. What? I have to do double takes here. It's just odd to me that this one's the uncommon. Okay. That's great. Pyromancer's Swath is good. Also, Braid of Fire, maybe. Braid of Fire might turn out being a Thran Turbine for us. I mean, obviously, the red can be used in conjunction with Zedruu's ability to do the thing, right? That's not a bad idea. And there's no mana burn. So, yeah. What the hell? I don't know why I'm thinking about mana burn at all. But yeah, there's not been mana burn for a while, but it's not there. Aethersworn Canonist. There is a Drannith Magistrate. Give the gift of you've already cast your commander. No, we'll probably just hold on to the Drannith Magistrate. And we might even run Drannith Magistrate, because it's a pretty damn good card. Players can't cast spells that share a color with the spell last played this turn. Relic Runner. Is that a relic she's running? Is that a relic you're holding, or are you just happy to see me? Oh, God. Oh, God. Sure. I don't know if there's much else in this variety. Like the thing that you could cast potentially that is shitty for you to give away. Whenever you cast an instant sorcery spell, target creature and opponent controls can't block this turn. All right, yeah, I'm feeling done here. We've reached the 4 CMC territory. Unless there's something that's really good that you really want to see, let me know. Okay. Crown of Doom. Crown of Doom, you say? Smothering Tithe. You know, this is the one time I think Smothering Tithe might have a home. I don't like the card, but I agree with you. To the who said that? JD? Shout out to you, JD. I'm with you on the tithe. Let's vomit those coins together. Whenever a creature attacks you or a planeswalker you control, get +2/+. Okay. Target player other than Crown of Doom's owner gains control of it. Activate only during your turn. Take that, Zedruu. Is there a collection of these cards? Isn't there like a scepter and a throne? Am I mistaken? That's like a different thing entirely. That might be a different thing entirely. Gains control. Let's try that. Let's try that. I just want to see what we're missing. To be perfectly honest, we're not lacking in much with this list right now. We've got what appear to be the staples. And then there's just a bunch of just core cards to throw in here to get this moving efficiently. Yeah, you know, I'm looking for the artifact creature enchantment that allows other people to gain control of things. Oh my god, I'm not even sure. Let me just get this out of the way. Let me do that. Okay. There's a lot. But let me tune in with you guys. Check out Pyromancer's Swath. It's nice. Nothing better than Wheel with Tithe in play. You might be right. I really don't know if there's nothing better than that. I really don't. Because I've never had that happen. Witch Hunt. I'm going to look at Witch Hunt, and then I'm just delaying the satisfaction of Pyromancer's Swath. Witch Hunter? or Witch Hunt? This is the guy going for her. At the beginning of your upkeep, Witch Hunt deals 4 damage to you. Players can't gain life. That's 5 CMC. Ugh! At the beginning of your upkeep, though, the dealing damage to yourself, that's pretty hilarious. I do like that. And anytime I can see if a witch floats, I will. At the beginning of your end step, target opponent chosen at random gains control of Witch Hunt. Wow, I see where you're coming from here. Ah, dang it. This is a poll question. Do we Witch Hunt? Yay? Oh, nay. Do we Witch Hunt? On that note, I don't know if I'm going to slam wheels in here. Now, I only run wheels in proactive lists for a good reason. They're leveraging them the best. Otherwise, if you're slow and you're playing a wheel on turn 4, you're just giving people value. You're just giving people value, strictly. And if that's something you want to do, it's in the essence of the deck, then, you know, maybe. Zedruu is all about the giving. And a little bit of take with the Smothering Tithe. Not necessarily, but it's there. You get stuff. Okay. We are looking at gains control. I just want to see how many things give control of themselves to other players. Zabaz? Nope. Not interested in that. Ooh, look at this dude's hands. Look at this dude's hands. He looks deadly. So deadly. None of these look good. Dragon Tempest. Whenever a creature with flying in it. Nope. Ooh. No. I do like 8.5 Tails. Only because of his Kami ties. But let me see here. There's got to be another thing, right? Whenever an enchanted creature becomes the target of a spell or ability that spell or ability's controller gains control of the enchanted creature. That is kind of cool. If only to repeat the function of gaining control of the thing, but not necessarily the most mana effective way to do the thing with Zedruu, and not necessarily important unless that creature was doing something vital for us. And we probably wouldn't want to give it away in the first place. So, not great. Oh, that's a thing. We can always do the idols, but no one really runs these cards, right? Like the ring, this. Sacrifice a creature, target opponent gains control of Jinxed Idol. If push comes to shove, you just kill Zedruu for the Jinxed Idol, right? Same story here, though, a little less damage. But it's something quirky you can do. Is that a Volrath ring? Here. I've never noticed the quote on Jinxed Idol. I don't understand the quote on Jinxed Idol, is really what I'm saying. Oh my god. Please, honored friend, take it with my compliments. I insist. JD, are you in the chat? JD is in the chat. You suggest a Time Twister, Time Twister and Windfall. JD, do you also prescribe Jinxed Idol? Because I didn't know that there was this art for it, and I really like it. I always glaze over it, and it's always the Tempest art, because, you know, why would they reprint this card? I'm putting it in. I'm putting it in. I'm putting it in. I'm sorry. I don't know if it's good. Okay? But 'tis the season of giving. Damn it. All right. And I'm going to close out this poll. You might want to put in your votes now. You might want to put in your votes right this second if you are interested in this poll. Because it's happening. Pendant of Prosperity. Does the thing, but isn't cEDH material? Pendant of Prosperity? Pendant of Prosperity. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of bad in the sense that draw a card, then you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. Man, that is so good to give to someone. Pendant of Prosperity's owner draws a card. That'll be us. Then that player may put a land card from their hand onto the battlefield. You know what? Only because it reminds me of Chrono Cross. Mildly. This looks like something that would be in Chrono Cross. And that's how I make decisions when I deck build. We'll put Pendant of Prosperity in here. I don't know if it's necessarily cEDH. That is a lot of value to give away, but we're also running Humble Defector, so is it worse than Humble Defector? I think they're on the level. Yeah, we'll do that. That's fine. I like that. Aggressive Mining is funny. Player who can't play lands. Yeah, Ben, but it's just... But what if when you cast it, they kill Zedruu? Okay? You're the player that can't play lands. 9 lives could be interesting too. So this was something that was suggested prior. And guys, if you want to follow along with the list as it's being updated, I'll encourage you to check the link in the description so you can see what is in Zedruu for you and you. But let's go ahead and take a gand at 9 lives because this, again, was suggested and I just never looked at it. Witch Hunt. Witch Hunt. Yay or nay, people? It's happening right. Is it a yay or is it a nay? I didn't look. 9 lives could be interesting. Okay. If a source would deal damage to you, prevent that damage and put an incarnation counter on 9 lives. You know what would have been really good? Sorry, before I read 9 lives. If we could do all that lich shit that Black has, all the stuff like, if do these 4 things, do these 3 things, and then the last one you choose, you die. That would have been so good for this deck. Are there any of those in these colors? I know it's like a predominantly Black thing to just do the self-destruction at the end of something really good, like some sort of demonic pact. But is there something like a angelic pact? Is there something similar? Please let me know, because I think that would be the funniest thing to hand away. Instant death, maybe? Choose. Although I don't know if it resets. I don't know how those function. But if they functioned in such a way, because no one's ever played those cards. But I would be interested to see how they function if we can hand them off. If it's in Zedruu's colors. When there are 9 or more incarnation counters on 9 lives, exile it. Oh my god, this is exactly what I was talking about. I'm going to take a drink. It is based off of... Okay, so we don't... If a source of damage would deal... Okay, we don't have anything that's dealing damage to us unless we have... And this is where we don't hand off the Mana Vault, okay? When you have the Mana Vault and you tap the Mana Vault to cast 9 lives, leave it tapped. You build these up. It's 9 counters? My God. People won't be swinging at you. This is really funny. It is exactly what I wanted. The Pact of the Cat. Yeah. I'm trying to see if there's a cool promo. We'll do the extended border, though. Right? Yeah, we'll do that. Okay. Yeah, 9 lives. cEDH worthy. Okay, moving on. Witch Hunt. Y'all want to go on a witch hunt, so we're going. Pack your bags, people. Bring your pitchforks and a torch. Fracture Identity is amazing if you play it on turn 1. Bad cards like Steel Golem and Pyromancer Swath. We never looked at Pyromancer Swath. I am so sorry. We're looking at the swatch that the Pyromancer wears. Okay, if an instant or sorcery you control the damage to the permanent player, it deals that much damage to 2. At the beginning of each end step, discard your hand. That is mean. Are there more mean things like this we know about? Well, we'll put Pyromancer Swath. Because this is in the spirit, right? We're never going to benefit from the increased damage, but at least we get to give the gift of potentially increased damage, right? That's something. That's something. Okay. Phyrexian Metamorph. It is sort of 3 mana to share the love more. Phyrexian Metamorph? Phyrexian Metamorph might be an interesting card just in general, depending on what our deck makeup is. Is it things that you control? I forget how Phyrexian Metamorph reads, but that could be something good. cEDH people usually run low land counts, so who cares if they cheat in 1 land or 2 colorless? You know what's interesting, Burno? That is a fact. So like, you do draw a card and you might potentially see a land, but the probability of the land coming into effect, I feel like Pendant of Prosperity is a lesser evil than Humble Defector. Because Humble Defector will benefit from 2 cards. But with Zedruu in particular, I feel like Pendant of Prosperity does more for us. I could be wrong. I'm actually forgetting how it read. But I think it's good. I think it's good. I put it in the list. And Captive Audience. We can add that. I feel like I should be paying tuition for the cEDH course. JK. I wouldn't say that this is necessarily my best work, but I'm glad you feel that way. This is like the community college of cEDH courses here, but I'm glad you feel like you're getting your free time's worth. That's good. What the hell am I looking at? Captive Audience. Okay. That is 7 mana, my friends. At the beginning of your upkeep, choose one that hasn't been chosen. Your life total becomes... See, but this is also black. We're not in these colors. We're not in these colors. I need to know. I need to know. If you think you're going to lose the game, then you better say so. And I want to know. So let's find out. Can we hand off triggered abilities? Bueller? Shahrazad? Anyone? Share the spoils. This was something that was remarked on a second ago. And by a second ago, I mean at the very beginning of this particular episode, someone suggested share the spoils. So let's read it. For 1 generic, 1 red. When Share the Spoils enters the battlefield or an opponent loses the game, exile the top card of each player's library. During each player's turn, that player may play a land or cast a spell from among exiled cards, so everyone benefits. And they may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast that spell. When they do, exile the top card of their library. That is a lot of value. I'm not sure we're really getting our money's worth there, but that is a lot of value. But I want to see more lose the game effects. At the beginning of your next end step, lose the game. If it weren't an instant. Target opponent loses the game. At the beginning of your end step, draw a card and then discard a card. If you have 15 or more artifact cards in your graveyard. Well, I mean, that's kind of cute if we had some sort of self-mill strategy that made that worth it. Strixhaven Stadium, anyone? There's got to be another one. There you go, Lich's Tomb. Whenever you lose life, sacrifice permanent. Oh. You don't lose the game for having 0 or less life. Wait up. I'm sorry. It's the same thing. As long as you have 0 or less life, all damage is dealt to you. Okay, so it's not like friction on life's good. You lose life, sacrifice a permanent for each 1 life you lost. I mean, that's just you're just leaving that person in the game because that's kind of rude and funny. If you lose the game instead, nope. No, there's not another one. Okay, we had to check. I had to check. I'm gonna tune in with you guys. We're on a witch hunt. Got that far. Role reversal and wrong turn are usable cards. Nope, someone says. I'd love to give you more mean things, but I'm in the middle of work. I'm not sure you win. Find more. I didn't understand that, but I believe you. Bucknard's ever full pursed. Ever full purse? I don't believe this is actual. I'm going to look it up. It is a card. Roll a d4 and create a number of treasure tokens equal to the result. The player to your right gains control of Bucknard's. Oh god, that is a lot. This is exactly in the spirit of the deck, though. Despite the effect being really good. Do we play the purse? Bucknods. You're right. Yeah, this is your cEDH crash course. When you've gone to a poll for 5 cards, Bucknards. Bucknards. We have any Bucknard fans in the audience tonight? Purse. Do we? Oh my god. It just put out a poll without an actual thing. Come on. Come on, YouTube Studio. Okay. We're going to get to the bottom of this. Bucknard's ever full purse. Do we Bucknard? Do we buck? Yay. Nay. And I mean the card that's right in front of us. Okay. I've wrong turned someone's commander right before they comboed off. It was amazing. Vidalcan Plotter for more giveaway stuff. Okay, so we'll look at Vidalcan Plotter. And then we're going to add in the essential cards. Like, we're at that point. I think we're at that point. When Vidalcan Plotter enters the battlefield, exchange control of target land you control and target land opponent controls. That is hilarious. Yes, Vidalcan Plotter. Love it. Thank you. Let me see here. I vote yes on having 1 empty space in the deck. Is this a cEDH list? Peter. When are the list on this channel ever not cEDH? That's the real question. It's not really a cEDH. No, it's not. It's probably not a cEDH list. I don't know, but we're going to find out in a second. I mean, it might be. I don't know. I haven't beat anyone with it. What does Rest in Peace do for us? Not much necessarily, unless we cared about our graveyard. Just good to give away, shut down, graveyard synergy. Yeah, that's fine. I can agree with that sentiment. Like, if you just give away a Grafdigger's Cage, it's value on top of value, right? So that's not so bad. Like, I would vote for Grafdigger's Cage. I don't know if we have a sub-strategy. Look. Oh, God, yes, Grafdigger's Cage, this one. Oh, my God, I forgot to buy the Secret Lair. I really wanted this Grafdigger's Cage. Anyways, I think that stacks elements that are just bad for the board are great to hand out. Unless they are things that we're trying to rely on. Like if we did do an Underworld Breach thing, which would make a lot of sense. But we're not. Right? I don't think we are. Maybe we should. Steel Golem is in. Experimental Frenzy. is an interesting one. You may look at the top card of your library anytime. You may play the top card of your library anytime. You can't play cards from your hand. And then you have to pay 4 to destroy Experimental Frenzy, which is kind of hilarious. So the thing here is, you give this away, and if they don't have red or away, like a rainbow land or something to give them the red, they're stuck with this, right? That's kind of funny. But they can play the top card of their library, so they're going to inevitably get out of this funk, but that's kind of cool. And it could be of value for you, but again, it's in that 4 CMC range, so it feels a little too much for me. But that could just be me. Steel Golem's in the list, Carter. Am I here to tell you to play Breach? I think I just mentioned Breach, but you could. You could be. I did just add Grafdigger's Cage, though. It's not weird. I don't have Breach Thassa's Oracle Brain Freeze in here, despite that being probably low-key the best idea for these colors. We don't have them, because who cares? Ledgered Mane, Gamble. Oh my god. Wow, Experimental Frenzy and Draneth. Yeah, kind of. Wrong Turn and Role Reversal are worth looking at. All right. Joel is the one. Joel's the one. Target opponent gains control of target creature. Sold. And Role Reversal. Is it Role Reversal? Okay. I didn't know it was like some weird roll thing like the Bucknard's Magical Purse, which I'm going to close out in poll. You got to participate. If you don't want this card in the deck, or if you do, then, participate. It's done. Role Reversal, very mana intensive. Look at that. Oh my god. Wait, this is amazing art, by the way. Exchange control of 2 target permanents that share a permanent type. So it is the same. If this was instant speed, I would like it a little bit more. Oh god. I don't know how I feel about Role Reversal. I really don't. I don't know how I feel about this one. I'm not as high on this as I am for Wrong Turn. And I can't even think of, like, major things to... It's not true. At sorcery speed for just pure double blue rather. That's a bit much in my book. Enlightened Tutor, never thought of that, Burno. Wait, what did Burno say? Oh, just the lock with Draneth Magistrate, yeah. cEDH table sudden substitution, says Antonio. This is the sudden substitution is the one with like the weird fetus baby thing, split second. This thing, that weird fetus baby thing. Yeah, I like that. Exchange control, target non-creature spell, and target creature. Give it away. Just give it away. Sudden substitution. I kind of like it here, and I think at this point, we're at that point where we should probably work on our life goals, how we're going to win this game. But let's start with our tutor suite. I think we're right in suggesting Enlightened Tutor. Enlightened Tutor, right? And we should probably look at some other tutors. So like Gomblay. Gomblay's good. Mystical Tutor. I've always heard that one's good. I don't know personally. Personal Tutor is not good. Probably avoid that. What are the relevant things in this deck? Probably want tutors for those, right? Like I'm saying, are we going to use Recruiter of the Guard or probably not? Imperial Recruiter? Probably not, right? I mean, are we desperate? Are we hungry for the Bizarre Trader? Are we hungry for the Bombshell? I want to add some draw utilities in here too. I already did the Mystic, Ristic, Esper Sentinel. There's your suite right there. Your basic, your starter draw utilities that you want to put in every deck. I think we've got enough draw, and like functionally we're doing the draw here. So we're probably good on that front, the draw front. Phyrexian Metamorph was a cute one. We have it enter as a copy of any artifact or creature on the battlefield, except as an artifact in addition to its other types. Yeah. Does anyone run Helm of the Host with Zedruu? Is that a bad idea? I mean, you were talking about doubling our upkeep triggers, right? Well, that doubles your upkeep trigger. Or you just get more things to give away. I don't know. I don't If you guys don't know what Helm of the Host is, by the way, it's only really run in one deck, but at the beginning of combat on your turn, create a token that's a copy of equipped creature, except that token isn't legendary. If the equipped creature is legendary, that token gains haste. So, kind of cool. Anyway, role reversal when you swap your Graph Diggers for their Soul Ring is going to look real good. I guess so. Yeah. Legend Man is actually Magic card, by the way. Oh, is that Squee? That's Squee. Oh, okay, wait. This is like before Story Spotlight things became a thing. Exchange control of target artifact or creature and another target permanent that shares one. That's really cool. Ledger Domain. What is that? Does this have a card? Does that have a card? Does that little thing have a card? I need to know. I've always wondered. Okay. Okay. Oh God, we've got suggestions. Impending disaster, sacrifice sacred ground, destroy everyone's lands, untap yours. That's kind of funny. Sacred ground. I don't know what sacred ground is. Whenever a spell or ability an opponent controls causes a land to be put into your graveyard from play, return that land to play. Oh, that's kind of cool. That's kind of a 1-2 wham bam thank you ma'am sort of deal right there. I dig that. Get that 7th edition foil, really flex in front of your friends. Show them what Zedruu's all about the right way. Also, you know, we're not playing Rest in Peace, but we're very similar in setting. So there's that. Yeah. Sacred Ground Impending. And if you guys don't know, Impending Disaster is the triggered Destroy All Lands card. It's kind of funny. I don't know how easy that is to... I don't know. Okay, so we want to add our tutor suites. I think we want to add our tutor suite. And if there's any other good, valid cards to add, let me know. Obviously, we probably want to add some solid win cons. At least one. Whether that's Dualcaster Mage and a Heat Shimmer or like something like Thassa's Oracle, right? We probably want to add that. We could talk about that. Idyllic Tutor. I don't know about Idyllic Tutor. Puka's Mischief seconded. Puka's Mischief seconded. Okay. Can we get a third for Puka's Mischief? Can we get a third? At the beginning of your upkeep, you may exchange control of target non-land permanent you control and target non-land permanent opponent controls with equal or lesser converted mana cost. I give this a third. I'll spend 4 for that. I will, I promise. Otherwise, I'd be cheating. Phantasmal Image, that's a smart thing. How do we win? Do we even win? Antonio! Yes. Combat damage. Have you heard of it? We only need to do 21. We'll get there. A lot of mana with Helm, though. Yeah, it is. Draw your whole deck and die as a win con. I like it. Yes. Antonio, give someone 9 lives. There you go. I mean, look, do we win? I'm not sure. Does some person lose? Yes. I think I can almost guarantee that. I'm going to try to do that. That's all I care about, okay? Spark double to copy Zedruu. Oh. Ooh. Spark do. That's kind of cool. For CMC, I don't know. What's the other one? Stunt double? Like, are these? Yeah, I mean, it's legendary. I don't know. I believe you. I believe you that it works. That thing in Squee's hand, I think, is Squee's toy, and it has a card. Okay, I think I know what you're talking about now. Wait up. Prevent 1 damage to any creature. All right. A little bit of a letdown when you've been thinking about it as much as I have. You can't play... Well, no, we have the Steel Golem. We've considered that enough. Helm of Obedience, rest in peace, sure. I just enjoy watching people who pick on me lose. Who cares about winning? And there's that. All right, so let us go ahead and conclude the tutor suite. Here's what I'm going to do. Look, if people want to know how we win. There's that, okay? There's that. There's a brain freeze. There's an underworld breach. And we'll piece all of that together. We'll get there. One day. It's not our main concern, but we might get there. I added Enlightened Tutor, I added Mystical Tutor. What are the tutors? Gamble, but what are the tutors did you want? Are those creatures that important? Gildradake's kind of funny. I don't know. No, that doesn't really do it, does it? Oh god, there's not that many good tutors in these colors. We want artifacts. I gotta do it. I'm sorry. I gotta do it. I gotta do it, man. Let me see if I can find... yeah. Okay. What do we have? What do we have? Extract. Search a library and remove a card from the game, and that player shuffles their library. That's pretty hilarious. I do love a good Mask of the Mimic. Not using any equipment. Nope. Don't have that many planes. Nope. Yeah, like I said, tutors are kind of low in these colors, for being honest with each other. I think we do like a merchant scroll. There aren't. That's kind of weird. Like surprisingly lack of decent tutors in these colors. Maybe transmute artifact actually. Let me see where you guys are at. Divine intervention. Yeah, maybe add a shot. Yeah, probably. It isn't really a cEDH win, but I use Temple Bell and Mind Over Matter. Okay, we'll start here. Each player draws a card. Okay. Choose and discard a card. Tap or untap target artifact, creature, or land. Let me get this straight. Let me wait. You draw a card and you deck them? You deck the hulls with their deck? Is that the idea? That's a lot of mana. It's $48. Buddy, Urza, take it easy, my friend. Take it easy, Urza. Jeez Louise, man. Do we Aven Mind Sensor? Is that something we feel crazy enough to do? Probably not. Intuition? Do we have a pile for intuition? We might. Savine's Reclamation. Savine's Reclamation. We have to. And we have to add the Lion's Eye Diamond. Okay, you want this to be cEDH. I get it. I get it. Idyllic Tutor, I'm just not fond of. I'm sorry. And actually, everything from here under, I am just not fond of. Oh, except for her. I do like her. And solve the equation? Yeah. Okay, we'll do solve the equation. If I can spell it. And Spell Seeker. Okay. Scroll Rack? Scroll Rack? Really? It's not a bad call. Wild Research is a weird tutor. Deck the halls. Tampa Bell Jiggle Bells. Tampa Bell Jiggle Bells. I'm gonna screen cap that. Wait up. Tampa Bells Jiggle Bells. Huge fan of Argivian Find. So am I. I just had an Argivian Find altered very expensively for a deck that it will probably see moderate to light play, but it's a good alter, trust me. Okay, we should probably focus on new things though, like ramp. Okay, Mana Crypts. Soul Ring, Chrome Mox, Mox Diamonds. Maybe you've heard of that card. Mox Opal. Maybe? Do you want to do Mox Opal? I'm not a huge fan of Mox Opal. I know people get really high on that one, but I'm not as high as other people are on Mox Opal. But we're going to keep it. We're going to keep it. We're going to do Simian Spirit Guide because we're just that crazy. There's no Angelic Spirit Guide, right? Not that I can think of. There's no Fairy Spirit Guide outside of green. Blue doesn't have one, is what I'm trying to say. Okay. We wanted to do like the jeweled Lotus is fine. Lotus Petal, Mana Vault, right? Man a Vault, and maybe not Grim Monolith. Maybe not. But I will put an Arcane Signet. Because I'm just a sick, nasty boy for Arcane Signet. And I also like Felwar Stone. I do like a good Felwar Stone. Okay. Pentad Prism. Chain of Vapor. I do like Chain of Vapor. Chain of Vaporeon is a very good card. Blue Simian Spirit Guide. Yes. Please. Please. Do we want to do... Is it weird to want Pyroblast in a list that contains blue? It's not, right? It's a perfectly normal feeling. Am I wrong? This is the poll question. Do you, the audience member, Thought Vessel for all the cards you draw. Okay, so Thought Vessel is you're right here. I don't know if we need like a spell book kind of effect, but you're right. Yeah. I understand. I like Thought Vessel. I actually really understand that, and I like it. And you're right. And you're right. You're damned right. You know? I was wrong. And I'm glad you're here. Moving on. 84 cards. Let's add a handful of counters and rake in the holiday cheer together. You could run Zedruu, the reduction, and Zedruu plus combos with Monolith and other cards. I'll tell you what the main combo is in a second, I promise. I'll show you. But let's add some countermeasures, and then I'll get back to the Pyroblast in blue question that's on everyone's mind, because it's a good one. I think it's a good one. I don't know. Swords to Plow. I'm only going to add in so much removal, right? But Swords to Plowshares makes sense. I like the Exile. How much creature removal does one Minotaur Monk need? I almost forgot what she was. How much creature removal does one Minotaur Monk need? Really? I don't know. Probably not much. A little bit of artifact destruction is always tasty. Right? Right? So, I mean, we are rocking and rolling with some artifacts here, though. To include a Smothering Tithe. What's weird is, like, there isn't much that stops our ETB win the game kind of effect. So, like, an Abrade would be nice just to stunt any sort of Torpor Orb effect. Be it creature or Torpor Orb. And we have the Swords of Plowshare. To be perfectly honest, counter kind of does everything, provided you've left mana open, and this feels more like a reactionary deck than anything. It's going very slowly. But other than like a lone deflecting SWAT, I'm not sure how many redirects we're going to necessarily use. I do prefer my copy effects over counters, but I'm alone in that camp, I feel. We will go with deflecting SWAT, and we will go with a Fierce Guardianship. And we will do a Pact of Negation, a Force of Will. Name your free counter spells. It's Force of Negation. And that might have covered our bases there, huh? I'm trying to think if we want to run any counter spells necessarily. Like I like Narset's Reversal. I'll do Narset's Reversal here. But we'll do Delay, we'll do Negate, we'll do Dispel, we'll do Mental Misstep. We'll do... I really like Miscast. And I like Spell Snare. Name your favorite countermeasures now. And do you Pyroblast when in blue? Ending in 3, 2. Okay. How do we miss Rust Elemental? Might be insane here. How did we miss Rust Elemental? That's a good question. We're just suckers. We're suckers. Rust Elemental. At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice an artifact other than Rust Elemental. If you can't, tap Rust Elemental and you lose 4 life. That is hilarious. The only thing that sort of puts me off is the 4 CMC, but to be perfectly honest, I kind of like this more than the Bronze Bombshell. I think that's really funny. I do know for fact that this creature is going to be thrown at you. So you will lose 4... You will be losing 4 life, is what I'm saying. Every turn of that player. So... But yes. I really like this card. That's really cool. And yes, Mirrored in Foil, please. Love it. All over that. Okay. It looks like... Oh, wow. There's some other stuff there. Okay. So we did Gamble already. Silence is a delicious one. Thank you for the silence. Swan Song is a good one. Generous Gift. I'm going to skip the gift for now. And I'm going to go with buy Force. And I'll do your Vandal Blast. I'll do your Vandal Blast. Miscast is in there. Pyroblast. Never without, because you know what? I gotta say, destroying blue permanents is pretty damn good sometimes. And we'll even do the red Elemental Blast. Yeah, those are both good cards. I just want to see where you guys were. Okay. Flusterstorm. That might do it. That may, I mean, we're definitely over. So I want to cut some things and then see where we stand with the deck. And then we'll test this deck. I'm excited. I'm actually pretty excited for this. I'm going to just go ahead and take this out now. Yeah, I'm going to take that out now. Pendant of Prosperity, though, I like, and I'm going to keep it. Jinxed Idol, all over that shit. Yes, please, give it to me. Poppy, please. I don't know if I'm all about the Mox Opal, though. I'm going to get rid of that. Okay. Solve the Equation, Transmute Artifact, Merchant Scroll, Savine's Reclamation, Intuition Bait, okay? It's solely there for the intuition. Calm down. By Force, Gamble, Vandal Blast. Vandal Blast? Yeah. Our land base is probably missing something, but I don't know what it is. Okay. Got a few instants here. Let's check them out. Force of Will, heard it's good. Sudden Substitution, because you have to have something to exile to Force of Will. We also have Wrong Turn, the Intuition, right. Force of Negation, Fierce Guardianship, Deflecting Swat, Abrade, Brawn Freeze, Dela, Narset's Reversal, Negate. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. A lot of just really good cards. These are all very good cards. There's nothing I want to omit from here. We are going to get into territory where we will want to remove things. And things that were voted on via poll are going to stay. That's just how these live streams work. But we can recommend alternatives later, provided we don't like these cards, okay? Okay. And I don't... Okay, so Witch Hunt is up there. It's up there. At the beginning of your end step, target opponent chosen at random gains control of Witch Hunt. It's really funny and it's really good. Am I mistaken? Like, they're going to give you... Someone's going to give you Witch Hunt. They're going to keep giving you Witch Hunt. I don't know if it's necessarily a great card for this list, despite its effect. At the beginning of your end step, target opponent chosen at random gains control of Witch Hunt. So the random aspect does save your keister a little bit, but let's keep it. Okay. Illusions of Grandeur, hilarious. Puka's Mischief, love it. Smothering Tithe, great. I forget what Thought Lash does, but it sounded like people liked it, so we're going to go with it. Exile the top card of your library, prevent the next one damage. Okay. When a player doesn't pay Thought Lash's cumulative upkeep, the player exiles all the cards from their library. Yeah, that's good. I mean, I feel like I would make that face when it happens. So, accurate art, accurate effect, it all seems good. Paradox Haze, pretty gas. Pyromancer's Swath. We're really just all about the tomfoolery here. I'm going to say Braid of Fire is a miss. Don't need that. We need to nix 3 more cards, though. So, Perplexing Chimera, love it. I actually do love it. I think the Bronze Bombshell, okay. This was a poll card. It did come before we actually started the show today. I'm not entirely certain. In my mind, Rust Elemental took the place of Bronze Bombshell. I actually like this more. I like this more. And the off chance that it doesn't go your way and they're not spiteful about this and like it's hitting someone for 4 damage, that's really cool because that can just be a consistent thing that happens. But it's pretty... Oh, and you tap it. So that bit is good. So at a certain point, the hatred stops and you're just... I like that a lot. I'm not sure I'm all about Phyrexian Metamorph, but I understand its use here. Because you can copy an artifact or creature on the battlefield. I'm going to get rid of it. Not as high on it as I am the other things. And everything else here is good. Everything else here is good. We still need to nix 1 more card. It feels like Jinxed Idol territory. I know. I know it does. I'm looking at the things we would sacrifice for Jinxed Idol. It's Jinxed Idol. Okay. Harmless Offering. Resculpt just better than a Braid. So Resculpt's the new blue one, and you might be right. Exile target artifact. Outside of the fact that they get a 4/4 blue thing, yes and no. Yes and no to this. The fact that it's exiled is actually a really big deal. So in that sense, that's a good question though. I really like that question. Is Resculpt better than a Braid? Before I answer it, I'm just curious. Aggressive Mining. We're going to skip on. Harmless Offering, though, I will look up. Target opponent gains control of target permanent you control. It's a cute cat, if you ignore the tail. It is cute. I wish it was instant speed. I don't know why. I don't know. We have Zedruu's effect, and we're going to have the mana sufficient to do Zedruu's effect every single turn. And the generic in this cost isn't really huge in my book. It doesn't really save us from having to do the thing already. I'm good with just Zedruu on this one. All right. So I don't want to sway this poll, but I will tell you what I think about Resculpt later. Let's test this deck. I'm so curious if it's any good. Is this a good starting hand? It does things. Rainbow Veil is weird. Okay, so what we're going to do is Mox Diamond the Rainbow Veil. Because I'm looking at a Ristic study. Like, I don't need Zedruu for the value, right? We're going to do the Arid Mesa for, and it's going to be a volcanic island. I'm fairly certain that red-blue is like the most of what we have in this deck. And because we have the Mox Diamond, that can be our white for Esper Sentinel, right? And then we're holding up, you know, interaction. But we actually do have interaction here. So, yeah, this is great. If we turn 1 an Esper Sentinel, it is very likely, if we were on the play, that we'll draw 3 things, right? I don't want to just give that to ourselves, though. So let's just say that, you know, someone did a land into a 0 drop, and then we get to draw 2 cards. How about that? I think that's fair, and then we'll move on. So before anything else, personally speaking, we still have the counter interaction. That's more than enough. I kind of just want to put down the Ristic study and get the ball rolling on our draw utilities. Like, that was actually really solid. Again, we do have a thing to stop someone, right? Non-creature, but that's more than enough, right? That is more than enough. That seems good for a start. And again, we do still have the Force of Will available. It does have 1 less thing to exile, but we were never going to exile the Ristic study for the Force of Will. We're good. That seems fair. I'm going to say that this, collectively, that's on turn 2, that's pretty damn good. I would say that draws us, again, maybe 3 cards, because they can start paying for this. But I'll say that collectively we draw 3 cards here. I think that's more than fair to assume. 1, 2, 3, and then we'll take our turn. Okay. Again, it's really a toss-up with the land base here, but I feel like the island is going to be far more useful. So, although this is a Zedruu list, I'm looking at Bazaar Trader, and I do think Bazaar Trader is of more value. But we also have the Pendant of Prosperity. This is a really weird hand. If I'm being perfectly honest, again, this is more of a scenario where I want to take everyone down a peg, and I do have a way. I can sort of insist on the buy force. Like, if I do buy force and, like, do 3 things, your Soul Ring, your Mana Crypt, your, I don't know, some other value piece, like your Signet, we could still force it out, right? Provided we really needed to. Because that's a lot to sink into this thing and have it not go off. And I would prefer that we get the value from it. But here we've got, again, a very reactive hand. And this is a good scenario to put down Zedruu, though. Like, if we were ever going to do it, I feel like now is a safe time because we still have the interaction with the Force of Will and the Force of Negation. So we might as well get the ball rolling on Zedruu. But I think buy force for removing value is fine. I think putting down a Bazaar Trader equally makes sense. But I do want to get the ball rolling on the Pendant of Prosperity and do some of those shenanigans. And this is a Zedruu deck, so Zedruu. That's what I'm going to do. Okay. Again, assume Z'ville. We're going to assume Z'ville. I would say that we draw, if none of these things are removed, just a cool 3 cards again. I think that's fair to assume. Okay, wow. And I got rid of my land drop. Who would have known? No one owns anything that they didn't already own. I will put down the Lotus Petal, and I will cast the Pendant of Prosperity with generic here. When it enters the battlefield, it goes under opponent's control. I'm going to give this to that player, probably the person to my right, just to have it set off last. But it's something to weigh on the minds of the opposing players, I suppose. But draw a card, then they put a land from their hand onto the battlefield. I would be screwed over this, sadly. Also, I could do the Rust Elemental, which is equally good. But at this point, I feel like it's more advisable to hold the Mystical Tutor and use some free interaction than anything else. We don't have anything to do if Thassa's Oracle's in our grave, so this is not a card I would be putting to the grave. I think between the delay and the negate, I would rather see, at this point, if I'm going to get rid of anything, if I hadn't used Buy Force by now, it's probably not worthwhile. The Rust Elemental, this is a counter anything, and at this point in the game, if someone's trying to win, I think that it's also reasonable to assume that in a cEDH game, they usually end around this mark, 4 or 5. So delay is actually a little bit more valuable because it's likely they're not going to see that delayed card before this game ends. So I like the counter all as opposed to negate. Not that, you know, I want to spend my mana on that. And odds are likely that I'm going to use the Force of Negation and the Force of Will before I even go for the delay. Because I still want to hold for the Mystical Tutor. But I would say that this is also equally not that good at this point. I've already, you know, we're all already off keel with each other. And I want to keep the Pendant of Prosperity around to get value off of that. So it's whatever. I think that we're going to get rid of this and probably the Bazaar Trader because these are just more valuable in general. And we have Zedruu down. It probably would have been great to go for the Bazaar Trader earlier, like I mentioned, but again, Zedruu deck. Okay. Holding. Do I need to Mystical Tutor? Cool. Do I need to Force a Negation? Cool. Did that. Knowing that Mystical Tutor puts instant or sorcery into my hand, at this point, it's probably best to just go for the Intuition to start setting up that Intuition pile. And again, we can talk about what that is in a second. But we'll go for the Intuition. I think that makes sense to put that on top. Someone activates my Pendant of Prosperity, right? This doesn't exchange ownership again, does it? No. So I will draw a card and I can put a land from my hand on the battlefield. I don't have one of those. Very cool. And then it's my turn. I will have assumed, though, that during this course, I drew a card off Esper Sentinel and a card off Rhystic Study. At this point, they might be a little bit more conscientious about this. They probably should have removed one or both of these things at this point, and that's fine. And even if I did the draw these things before... Actually, because I give it to this person last, I would say that this was in my hand for the pendant, so I'll just put it on the battlefield. Does it go into play tapped or untapped? Man, that's really good. Okay. That's really good to just be giving someone. I'll draw a card on my upkeep based off of that. I'll gain life. I don't really care about the life, but I will do that. Okay. This is where the Thought Vessel comes in handy. I'll tune in with you guys in a second. I promise. I am curious about that poll. But actually, let's stop for the poll. Poll's going to end in 3. Let me see what you guys said. Vandalblast destroys Rust Elemental, Bombshell, etc. Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of Vandalblast. Neither am I, because we will be giving away stuff we want to stick around. I'm not huge on Vandalblast just in general. I prefer things like... Byforce is fine, but I prefer Shattering Spree. Now, in these colors... Red is prioritized, but if blue's in the deck, it's prioritized. But Shattering Spree is great because of its replicate cost. It's very similar to Byforce, but with the requirement of red. This is a better Byforce, by all means, but the red cost is a restriction. But it's really good. It's really, really good. But yeah, let me tune in with you guys. Is Resculpt better than a Braid? 2/3 of our viewing audience say that Resculpt is better than a Braid. And I agree. To be perfectly honest, I don't think they're going to be spiteful for you making a good play. And I do think that before we continue this game that's going really swimmingly, wait up. We're going to heartwarming halftime here. It's not halftime, but okay. Here's why. Giving a 4/4 beater to someone is not a bad thing. And if you're playing a game of cEDH, it's unlikely that people are going to be very spiteful with you if you make a good play. And in these colors, you're not the target for the attack of a 4/4 beater. You're just not the target. We're not using Treasonous Ogre. There's no reason to believe that we're using our life as a resource. Odds are likely that that creature is going to go somewhere else. And that's good. That is actually a really good thing. And we're exiling the things, be it a creature or artifact. So I actually agree that Resculpt is better. I totally forgot it existed. And You could probably use it over a Braid, and that makes perfect sense. I think that makes total sense. Cheers to the suggestion. And cheers to you guys. Thank you for tuning in for this one. I want to finish this game and maybe put in another one. But this has been a really fun build, and I hope you've enjoyed it thus far too. Okay. This is a really good... We've been blessed with a really good start. And we've been playing it very... We have to assume a lot of things when we're gold fishing, but I think it's fair to assume a lot of things that would have occurred accurately as we've been playing. I don't think people would value my Rhystic Study that highly if I was just playing Zedruu, nor my Esper Sentinel. Esper Sentinel might have been killed coincidentally due to some sort of board wipe, and that's fine. And Rhystic Study is a good target for a Pyroblast or Elemental Blast for an opposing player. If we happen to be the only blue player at the table, we'll probably eat that, right? But let's just assume that everything's here as it stands, and that's fine. This is tapped under our opponent's control. Smothering Tithe would be really great to get the ball rolling on things, because if I were to go Intuition right now, like right this second, the thing I would go for is Sevinne's Reclamation, Lion's Eye Diamond, and Underworld Breach, right? Right. Now, the only unfortunate bit is that we don't have a more direct tutor in our graveyard. That's a lie. We do have Mystical Tutor. We don't have a way to draw that card. I don't think. We have Gamble. I'm looking at Gamble. Wow. But the concept here is to intuition those three cards, and provided whatever they give us, we should be able to work with. LED will be the worst, but it gives us the opportunity to make mana when we get our Sevinne's Reclamation out of our grave to put the Underworld Breach from our graveyard onto the battlefield. But mind you, Sevinne's Reclamation is going to be 5 CMC from the graveyard, right? It'll give us something else back, right? Like some sort of mana rock or something to functionally give us more mana. But if you do it this way, this is going to cost 5, the intuition's 3. That's going to cost 8 mana. It's quite a setup. So having the Smothering Tithe down to gain mana and just play out a turn more slowly wouldn't be a bad idea. We could even manually try to assemble with the Gamble. Like if we do this and we get our Underworld Breach, we can do Gamble from our graveyard and get our Brain Freeze, and or we're ultimately trying to make mana with LED and use Brain Freeze on ourselves to win with the card that's in our hand here. And we do have a Force of Will and a Negate and a Delay. We don't have that much mana though. This is generic. We've got 6 mana. Okay. This is not a very Zedruu heavy game, but it would probably be advisable if no one's won up until this point, and depending on the board, like if someone's pushed to win and everyone's expended their resources, now would be a good time to try to push our own win. And then we have 2 avenues of approach here. Intuition is a very expensive way to get there, but it's instant speed, and we would do this off turn. We would do this off turn. But Gamble, let's just push it now, see if we can do it. So this Underworld Breach, we'll roll a d10, and the result of a 10 we reroll. I rolled a 1. Hey, Thassa's Oracle goes to the grave. That's okay. We're gonna do this for generic, and we'll do this for the red. How about that? All right, does it go through? I've got mana sufficient. I don't know if I can win with this. I didn't really do the math like a smart person would. I could go for my LED, though, next with the Gamble, which is probably advisable, right, to dump my hand. So if that is the case, we're probably going to want to do this. Let's just get rid of the LED. It's the Lotus Petal, excuse me. That's fine. We'll go ahead and stop the thing with either the Delay or the Negate. It doesn't really matter at this point. We're trying to win. Because one of these 2 things is probably going to get Force of Willed out anyways, provided we don't succeed with this. But let's just pretend that the Delay was enough. We'll go ahead and Gamble. Lion's Eye Diamond, right? So we're going to cast Gamble from our grave. And we'll, whatever, fine, that. And I'll try to show you how we'll win with this setup. Probably want to exile these lands first, but I don't care. Gamble from our grave using the Mox Diamond. Gamble for LED. Shuffle our library. Roll the die. It'd be a D8 in this instance. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Intuition's gone. We'll cast the LED. Use the LED. And at this instance, LED's discard your hand is just as good. If you're going to do this, and this is the obvious setup, again, keep the free counter spells or whatever counters you might have that could functionally work here that are in your graveyard, where it might have been good to do Force of Will. Anyway, that, dump our hand, LED to go and make 3 more red, and then we can use LED again. Again, just get rid of these. LED again to do 3 more blue. You should be counting your storm here. Did I even put brain freeze? Oh my god. Okay, you should be counting your storm here because we're going to gamble for bloop, get rid of the rust, get rid of the intuition, get rid of the smothering tithe. We're going to gamble for brain freeze, and then we'll do boop, boop, brain freeze ourselves. And we just start losing our library by self-milling off storm. We make mana with LED. We continue this process, and we cast Thassa's Oracle. And if you guys don't know what Thassa's Oracle does, then you've just not watched this channel. But that's how we could win. So I'm going to tune in with you guys, see what you think. Search Mind Lash to set up win with Oracle. Oh, you could. I get, yeah. That actually, I mean, yeah. Is it as cost effective? Wait. Mind Lash. Mind Lash? Mind Lash. Is it one word? I know what you're talking. Thought Lash. Thought Lash. Remove the top card of your library from the game. Prevent the next one damage. That's actually a really cool idea. Would that have been as mana efficient? I did Gamble, Underworld Breach. Gamble again, LED. I would say that the route I took was probably as direct as it gets and gives us the cards we need, right? For 4. So, but that is actually a really smart idea. Like Thought Lash in this extent, because of the bottom effects, just exiling your library. Obviously, it's not something you would commonly do, but with Thassa's Oracle, it's just a direct line to Winville. You just win. That's actually not a bad idea. So yeah, you can do that. I do think that Underworld Breach is the cleanest way to go for a win, but at 4 CMC, this is really not bad as a good backup line. And also, it's really good Zedruu bait, obviously. Really good Zedruu bait. Anyway. But no, Joel, I like that suggestion. Imagine Gamble for Mind Lash and Oracle going to the grave. Yeah, that would suck. Oh my god, that would have been horrible. Okay, I just want to goldfish one more hand to see what we can get. But that was obviously not a bad playthrough. Mind you, how lucky were we, right? Is this a good start? We have solved the equation, a Mana Crypt, a Mystic Remora, an REB, a Flusterstorm, and Arcane Signet. It's good. It's good. Again, Intuition is a clean way to get where we want. Gamble was a dirty way, and it worked. But mind you, we were drawing a lot at that point, so we were in a good position. Should we play this hand? I mean, this looks kind of good. I'm going to play this hand. I'm going to play this. Oh, no. Okay. Shivan Reef, excuse me. This, Arcane Signet, Mystic Remora. Pass. Am I paying for the Mystic Remora? Probably. But let's just say that we draw 3 cards. That seems fair. We'll stop there, though. To do the Mystic Remora, we'll just do one generic here. I'm not really sure what I'm doing with my turn, but that Spellseeker kind of spells a direction. But we've always had to solve the equation, so it's like, you know, yes. I'm probably not going to keep this Mystic Remora much longer, but we'll get as, you know, we'll juice it. We'll squeeze it for all the juice. All the juice it's worth. We should put Resculpt in this list for sure. Okay, white. What white land do we want? Plateau? Not really. What is the... It's Tundra. We want that one. That one's good, I'm told. I'm going to assume this next Gozi that Mystic Remora gets us 3 cards again. I'm just going to assume. But let me tune in with you guys. Play the lottery, yeah. Forget Kaikar. This is the true RB White Storm cEDH list. Antonio, to be truthful, in these colors, well, okay, so Zedruu actually equates to some decent value. Mind you, we didn't really do Zedruu there, but if you just have a hand that has the ramp sufficient to put Zedruu down and you get the ball rolling on handing out gifts, you do draw cards off of Zedruu in quite a bit, depending on how much you've allotted already. So it's not bad, but we've had 2 really solid starts. I do think that the other start was better by virtue of the fact that I mean, these counters are not bad. This is they were both really good starts. They're both really good starts. As per Sentinel and Heuristic Study is pretty gas, though. At any rate. Oh, man, that looks... I don't want to do Illusions of Grandeur, obviously, up until Zedruu is down. It just doesn't quite make sense. What does make a whole lot of sense is to just do the solve the equation and probably set up an Intuition, and then Spellseeker is going to get some form of counter interaction. If we're being honest with each other, that is the most logical play. Is it the fun Zedruu thing? No, but like these colors want to do what I just did. So that's what you should do. So we're going to do that. The thing is, if it wasn't for solve the equation, because Intuition is not 2 or less, right? I would probably play Spellseeker here and then Zedruu the Spellseeker later, because it's just a 1/1 that we get to draw off of, right? So that's not a bad idea. And let's just do that. Let's just do that. That is more in line with my general interest. We're going to use the Tundra here because I want to keep the REB open with the Arcane Signet. I think that makes more sense. And with Spellseeker here, I honestly forget what's on our list that we could actually play with. So apparently this list is hella competitive, by the way. So good on us. We did a decent job, apparently. Savine's Wreck is 3. Transmute Artifact. I don't know what artifacts are trying to transmute outside of maybe the Pendant of Prosperity. Oh, there's that LED. No, there's some good stuff for that. And so far as our instants are concerned, depending on the situation, this will vary. But, I mean, we probably just want some form of, like, interaction. I'm sorry. Spellseeker, does she ever grab anything else? She might grab another tutor, and that's fine. Do we need another tutor necessarily? God, gamble. I don't want to be that person, but I think she's probably just going to grab a gamble. Am I wrong? I don't know. Tutoring's really good. Getting exactly what you want is really good. But mind you, we do still have to solve the equation. So, I mean, I don't know. Silence is good. Let's just do Narset's Reversal and win off of someone else's Adnos. I just want to grab something interesting. I'm very much going off the beaten path here. I've given you my thoughts on what we should do, so let's just do what I want to do. I like copying spells, so I want to do that. Okay. This stays. We draw 3 cards. Bam, bam, bam. It's going to, on the upkeep, I'm going to let that go. And we'll do my return. We should be losing life or not losing life off the Mana Crypt. I'm not going to track that. I will do the, at this point, like the Arid Mesa is just as good as the Plateau in hand, unless I'm really interested in deck thinning right now. Ooh, I love the fact that we have Witch Hunt right in our hand at this moment. I will do the Arid Mesa still, though, because I do think that our Shocklands... Oh, God, what is the white-blue Shockland? I don't know, and I don't care. Is it Hollowed Fountain? Cool. Right. Hollowed Fountain. Because we need the blue more than we need the red just based off my hand, so it's better to just do that. And we don't need white for shit, so it's there. All right, so this kind of changes the equation a little bit. We've got 3 generic floating. We didn't need to tap the Soul Ring, but I am. If I suspect a play that would be really good, like a Peer into the Abyss or some shit, I would definitely hold the Narset's Reversal up, but I really just want to play Witch Hunt. I'm going to do what I really want to do now. This could enter tapped, but we won't. We'll use it. The generic here instead. Yeah, Witch Hunt. Witch Hunt, baby. At the beginning of your upkeep, Witch Hunt deals 4 damage to you. At the beginning of your end step, target opponent chosen at random gets control of Witch Hunt. That's awesome. Love it. Okay. Sure. It's in play. We decided to play it. We've got it. It's there. Cool. All of our mana is gone. We're gonna hold for interaction, and we need a discard. So probably this mountain. Yeah. Okay. Cool. At the beginning of your end step, target opponent chosen at random gains control of this. So we would like D4 the thing or whatever. Witch Hunt goes that way. Cool. It's under their control now. They're going to start losing life. Love it. And let's just say that we do need to do the Flusterstorm off turn, right? To stop whatever win. We do that. Cool. And that's it. We're good. Okay. No more drawing. We will do a Plateau. We should probably do a Zedruu. And we'll do the Zedruu through the Mana Crypt and this Plateau and the Hollowed Fountain and the Shivan Reef, whatever. We'll lose life here. I mean, that's probably more important that I have red-blue open. We'll do it this way. And we have 1 generic floating, and I think that 1 generic is going to go towards nothing. Is there a way I can do this to where I have colored mana available? I don't think so. So we've got 1 generic floating, and I've got sufficient enough mana to cast Illusions of Grandeur. So hell yes. Right? Hell yes. So from the Mana Crypt earlier to cast Zedruu, and then we'll do the Shivan Reef. It happened anyways. Okay. And this will gain 20 life. That doesn't necessarily matter. We do have the mana sufficient to pay for the cumulative upkeep, right, with these 2 things, so I'm less concerned about that. And we don't need the generic for Zedruu's ability, so we're in like Flynn. This has been bouncing around. It hasn't made its way back to us yet. Let's just pretend. And now our next turn. Okay, so trigger on the stack for Zedruu. We will pay the cumulative upkeep on the Illusions of Grandeur, and I will use Zedruu's ability to move. I don't care. I'll do this. Cool. We'll use the ability to give Illusions of Grandeur to another opponent. These are the things that our opponents have. Awesome. That was with the trigger on the stack. I will draw 2 cards and gain 2 life. Cool. No lands. That's okay. Pendant of Prosperity. Let's go. Love it. That's another thing that an opponent owns. Honestly, I'm really loving this. I don't know if you can see that. This is like a really fun, odd, quirky build. The only things that really bug me about Zedruu, and I think we can probably close this out now because, well, I mean, we're getting there, but I don't know if I've chosen all the best routes. I think we could have gotten there more quickly if we did what I described earlier. I wanted to play Zedruu for Zedruu, and that's so much more fucking fun. Like, this is actually an interesting build, and this is actually an interesting deck. But here's what I think is holding Zedruu back. The cost of the effect is very expensive, and there aren't enough Pendants of Prosperities in the world to help this. Now, we do have Humble Defector and a couple of quirky, cool cards in the list. I think the Bizarre Trader makes sense, but you do need things that make sense to give away. Spellseeker is one of those things that makes sense to give away. Once you've gotten the effect, who gives a care about the thing? It's just potential value for an opponent, but then ultimately value for you. So are there enough things that work in tandem with Zedruu to where we don't need to use her effect? I will say yes. There are enough things to where you don't need to use Zedruu's ability. legitimately. Like it's good. It's actually really good and usable. This is actually a really interesting commander. Is this as balanced as it should be with its counter interaction for the speed it's going? I don't necessarily think so. I do think that you can power through an Underworld Breach win more quickly than you would imagine. And it's fine to play a more proactive game, provided you have the hand that allows it. I do think that this is more of a reactionary list and that you should take your time with this. Does that ultimately mean you should be running stacks? Some. Definitely some. Because those are the best things to hand off. But mind you, I'm actually more a fan of just doing the Pendant of Prosperity and giving value. Because in some instances, it's okay to give the other control player like added value if it means that you get some perks in return too, like the other stacks list, the other slower list, provided you feel like you can work around them and, you know, stop whatever thing they might cast that will thwart your strategy. In this instance, because of the Underworld Breach being the predominant strategy here, right? It's the catalyst for Thassa's Oracle outside of our Thought Lash. I do think that you're going to want to stop any sort of strategy that stunts our graveyard, like a Rest in Peace, or if we do need our artifacts, like we did with LED, Stony Silence, Null Rod, stuff like that, Grafdigger's Cage, you're going to want to stop those things. But this is a really fun list. I'm genuinely surprised. I really like Zedruu. I'm happy that it was voted on the Discord, and provided you would like to participate in what we build next and you're not a patron, that is a great way to do it. I think that I will send it off all the cold brews in the future, potentially all the cold brews. There are some things that I just want to do. I'll send it to you guys because I love hearing your opinions on what we should brew next. And this is one that I would not, again, naturally do, but I really, really liked. And it's good. I think this is actually good. But again, I leave it to you. Polish this up. Make it better, as we always do with these cold brews. And thank you for tuning into this episode. And I'd like to do a special thanks to our Patreon community. You guys are the best. Honestly, it is the reason I am able to do this programming. Your support over on Patreon gives me all the potential and all the reason in the world to continue running this program. I got a full-time job recently. It takes a lot of my time, but this is honestly the best part of my week. So thank you for making this a possibility for me. And thank you guys for tuning in every week to watch these streams. I hope they're educational and informational and entertaining in the least. And if you have a Zedruu, feel free to place it in the comment section down below. We can share our collective thoughts on the Minotaur Monk and see if we can't make a better one in the future. But I do think that Zedruu has antlers and can ram like a goat. And definitely has a shot at playing at a more competent cEDH table. It is a very fun strategy and a super, super festive one at that. Guys, if I don't see you before holidays kick off, happy holidays to you. Again, my name is Patrick Marlatt, and happy brewing, babies.